finished the 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Well, we haven't finished it, but we hit the 12th day, and the winners will be announced at the end of the year.
I am loving these community things with like it's so like I had a listener send me a photo of her ultrasound today and it was so sweet because we've been kind of talking back and forth throughout her after her transfer and it's just been so fun to like get to go along on the ride with somebody who
Yeah.
I've never met in person but is a listener and that's like how we've connected and I just love all of the community things and the giveaways. And I don't know if you saw today's prompt was to share like a tiny triumph from 2025. And
I did.
the comments and the stories, they're just all so wonderful and encouraging and heartfelt. And yeah, it just makes me really, it brings
Mm.
a lot of joy. So
Yeah, I love that that was the prompt for today. Were there any really unique ones that you saw today? I saw a couple come in.
yes, there are some really, really special ones. Things like my triumph was finding this podcast to help me through my IVF rounds, which led to a
Mhm.
successful second transfer 24 weeks tomorrow with my
I
IVF miracle.
loved I loved that one.
That's so
I
sweet.
saw that this morning and I was like, "Oh my gosh."
My tiny triumph is realizing that I can, in fact, survive back to back rounds of IVF over the holidays. Duo stim. I've never heard of duo stim.
I
It's
don't
like
know what
one
that
word.
is.
Duo stim is hell. I'm wondering if that's like a term for back to back, like doing two retrievals
Duo
without having a
stem.
period.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. IVF protocol that involves 2 rounds of ovarian stimulation and 2 egg retrievals within a single menstrual cycle? What?
Wow. I've never even heard of
Maximize the
this.
number of eggs retrieved in a short amount of time, making it beneficial for low ovarian reserve, fertility preservation methods, and those who have failed previous cycles. The process includes a
Interesting.
first stimulation phase and egg retrieval, followed by a second stim and egg retrieval. Whoa! I don't even know how
I've
that
never
seems
heard of that.
possible, but whoa. Okay, we should learn more about that. Okay, finish that
Yeah.
one. Finish that
So,
comment.
okay. So, yeah, this person duostim as hell during the holidays while working full time and with a Thanksgiving Day surprise retrieval is insanity, but we're doing
Oh,
it.
yes, is insanity.
Wow.
Absolute insanity. But good for you. Whoa.
We found our more than likely root cause and were able to proceed with IVF with incredible embryo results. There was one on here that was really emotional to read. Oh, yeah. My brain cancer is stable and tumors showed no progression on my last scan, which is just not a tiny
Incredible.
triumph, a
Yeah,
huge,
yeah. Mount
incredible
Everest
triumph.
triumph. Wow.
And then, yeah, there are almost 100 comments on this, but I'll finish with this one. My triumph was also my loss. Made it to 21 weeks pregnant, but lost my daughter at that point. This whole year dedicated to her with recovering from endosurgery on New Year's to finally get pregnant in July. I am reflecting back on the year and it is very sad, but holding on to joy and sweet moments as well. Even though we lost her, I'm grateful for the time we had. Ooh, and holding on to that. She is my triumph.
Wow. Oh, so much love to you.
So this community
Wow.
is just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Really going through it and really incredible and strong and resilient. And I don't know how we all hold these things. I don't
I
know.
don't.
I'm overwhelmingly, over and over again, overwhelmingly surprised by and empowered by the people in this community who keep going, period.
Yeah,
Just full
yeah.
stop. Well, not the stop part. You know what I mean?
Just, yes.
Just who keep going.
You keep going. That is, so Amy and I, today's episode will be a little bit shorter. We're going to
Don't
wrap
say
up
that.
20.
We're never
Okay.
short,
I know.
Katie.
I told Anthony
Don't
that. I was like,
preface.
no, it's going to be a short episode. He was like,
Yeah.
just don't say it because it's not going to be. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I told Amy, I feel like today should be kind of more of a micro episode just to kind of, maybe because we don't really have like a theme for today other than just reflecting on the year and reflecting
Mm.
on the positives, the negatives, the hard and challenging times, but the surprising and joyful times, and reflecting on the podcast. And yeah, just kind of, we'll just wrap up the year. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to express our gratitude for our listeners and for you and for this community and what
Yeah.
it has become this year, because I truly couldn't have imagined it to turn into what it has. So,
I love it. How should we start?
okay, so we'll start with, I have something to start with us. To start us with, I was
Okay.
thinking we could start the episode with, I have a little treat for you. So, you know how everyone is doing Spotify Wrapped?
Yes. Oh, yes. I
Okay.
love this.
Okay, so the new thing is the Chat GPT Wrapped. Have you done yours yet for the year?
No. Wait, this is
Okay.
amazing. Let's do it.
Yes, so I pulled up ours and I had ChatGPT like script it, so it's very over the top and hilarious. So I'm just going to read it like it was pushed out to me.
God.
Okay. Host, welcome to Fried Eggs Podcast 2025 Wrapped, where Spotify tells us what we already know. We cannot shut up about IVF. Our top genre of the year, fertility chaos, a stunning blend of medical jargon, dark humor, and the sound of someone crying in their car outside a clinic. Your
Too real.
most your most streamed themes. Number 1, wait, what did my embryologist say? This was your most replayed category because apparently everyone else also pretends to understand the lab updates while secretly Googling morphology.
Amazing. We got a shout out to Allie. Allie, the
Shout out
embryologist.
Allie.
That's amazing.
Number 2, loss, grief, and the group chat that keeps us alive. Listeners binged the episodes where we said the quiet parts out loud. Spotify flagged these as therapeutic but not licensed.
We do put that in our disclosures.
We do. Number 3, clinic red flags. This was the moment everyone realized just because a clinic has marble floors does not mean they know what they are doing. Number 4, listener stories. IVF, check. Miscarriages, check. Donor eggs, check. Successes, failures, chaos, check, check, check. Our audience said, I want the truth. And we said, say less. Here's everything.
Mm.
And then, again for Allie, breakout star of the year, the embryologists, the people in the lab who actually know what's going on. We put them on the mic and the listeners said, finally, adults. And then it has a little conclusion. So that's our 2025 Wrapped. Thank you for listening, crying, submitting stories, and making this community the most emotionally chaotic corner of the fertility world. And as always, hydrate, advocate for yourself. And if your clinic gives you weird vibes, run. See you next time. And Spotify, please don't tell us how many hours of our own show we listened to. We don't need that data.
That's true.
So there you have it.
Okay, so shall we transition?
Let's transition.
Wait, before we transition, can I tell you a really cute
Yeah.
story? Actually, maybe this is a part of the transition, so never mind. So let's transition.
Okay. I want to hear what you're thinking about as we finish the year in terms of reflecting back on where you were at this time last year and just like how you're feeling in terms of like, what are you celebrating? What are you grieving? What are you frustrated with? What are you proud of yourself for?
Ooh. Yes, Katie. I just felt my heart pick up a little bit at the question. We talked about that we were going to talk about this, so it's not like it's a surprise, but I still felt my heart kick up a little bit. I think when I look back to last year's reflection episode we did, I had said something about feeling like nothing has changed, but then realizing that I had actually learned a lot and trying to be grateful for the little small momentum and movement that had happened, even though the big, end goal has still not been met. And I feel like that sentiment is very similar or like still here for this last year as well, because I'm still not there, right? We still haven't met our goal and like the big achievement. And the big achievement is the baby, right? Finally being here. And I was trying to think about what am I thankful for? Like, what are the small movements and learnings that I have had over the year. Because I think when we just think about like the big end goal, it can feel like a failure and it can feel like nothing has happened and I've wasted a year. But I think what I said last year remains true. And I'm trying to remember is like, that's not the case. Like, it is not a failure. And I did learn things and moved mountains. I haven't reached the final peak yet, but so I'm trying to think about those things. And a couple things come to mind for me that I'm really grateful for. And one of the first is actually doing a lot of introspection and introspection, just myself, but also in my relationship and my family to get to a point where I could make a decision to pursue surrogacy. And that was a huge decision for me. Like, I was reflecting on this with Nima the other day that, I sat with this, ruminated on it, marinated on it, meditated on it for a long time before I even said it out loud to anyone, including Nima. And he's been right alongside me this whole time. But I really sat with that and struggled with it, cried over it, tried to hide it, tried to listen to it, tried to give it air, and got myself through and over like a pretty huge hurdle. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that and for listening to my intuition that this can't be the only path for us. And I do feel like that's pretty momentous and that's pretty big. And I'm also very proud of being able to talk with Nima so openly about it. And I'm really proud of us as a unit. It has not been easy to walk this road at all. And for us specifically, like, we've also not had a straightforward experience through the surrogacy journey either. And we'll get into more of that in the future. I think for now I'm protecting that space because it is so sensitive and it's such like a vulnerable space to be in while we're trying to find the right match for us. And it's not been easy to do for whatever reason, but I am very grateful to my partner for supporting that decision and like jumping in with me pretty immediately and then our families for supporting us too and our friends. And I have felt a lot of love, and the more I open up about the challenges, the more I think wrapped up in love I feel. And I wish that for every single person who's going through anything that feels like impossible. What is really, for me, very bittersweet or I need a better word than bittersweet because it's like actually really, it just stings.
Mm,
Maybe is the better way to put it is how long this is also taking because you
yeah,
make
the
this.
surrogacy
The
part,
surrogacy
right? Yeah.
journey, yeah. It took so much effort to make the decision to pursue it, and once we did that, we really started in earnest, and now it has been so long that we could have had a baby already. Isn't that
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Well, it's
awful?
like when
Yeah.
we were talking about transfer and like once you get to that part, you're like, we're here, like
Yeah.
now, like next month, right? Like it's gonna happen. And then all of a sudden you have, you know,
Yeah.
different things come up, which yeah. And for you guys,
Mhm.
I remember when you first told me about pursuing surrogacy and yeah, it was like it could be as early as, a couple weeks from now. And that was like in the spring.
Mhm. That was in April. So I did the math. I kinda just realized it. I was at a dinner with
Yeah.
some girlfriends before Wicked, and I, like, did the math. And I was like, "Oh my god, it's literally 9 months on my fingers." And I was like, "Oh, how many times have you done that count with your
Yeah.
fingers where you've been like, okay, so if it works this time, then at, you know,
Mhm.
7
Mhm.
months from now at that wedding, I'm gonna be 7 months pregnant." Or like, how many times I have done this like stupid, like, because I can't do the math in my head, so I use my
No, right?
fingers.
Yes.
9 is too hard. Um, So I did that at the dinner and I was like, I immediately just like had this moment of shock that I had not realized that it had been 9 months since we had the first call with a potential surrogate and we still don't have a surrogate. So I think that part it stings a lot. because it just felt like, oh, we finally made this huge decision. This means we were going to have like a green light. We get to go. We get to pass go.
Right, now it's gonna be like,
Finally.
easy,
Easy.
right? Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I am reminded by the folks, like, I've met more and more people who've gone through surrogacy and or had their babies through surrogacy. And so I am reminded by them that, like, this is just another sort of stop in the journey, and it's still a very long road. And even infertility is a long road to parenthood, I think, right? It's not like it ends when you have a baby, like everything we're talking
Yeah,
about from your
yeah.
perspective. But I thought maybe we would be closer by the end of this year. And I also am like reminded at the many times, again, I did the counting on my fingers, but then someone would ask, like, oh, so maybe by October you could have a transfer, or maybe by September you'd have a transfer. So, like, then thinking ahead to
Mhm.
what next year would bring. So that's very disappointing. And I'm working through it, not to sugarcoat it. It's tough. It's tough. You want to look for, or I want to look for, like, the signals that things are on the upswing, And when you keep getting sort of hit down with disappointment, it can feel really hard to keep moving, you know? That said, I know I'm going to keep moving. It's just a bit challenging to figure out where you're going to get the energy from. And that's also why I'm so impressed by this community. Like, I'm like, how do we do it? I don't know, but we do. And I'm saying that to myself too. I'm like, I don't know. Something within me is just pushing us forward, and that's probably like the signal.
It's so visceral, that feeling of just like absolute despair, while also knowing in the back of your head you're going to continue doing
Yeah.
this, you know?
Yeah.
I've never really thought about infertility and IVF through that lens of like, it's just feeling like you're running into closed doors, all like a
Yeah.
closed door or a brick wall all the time,
Brick wall,
which,
brick wall,
but in
which I did
any
once,
other
by the way.
circumstance, you ran into a no.
As
What?
a kid,
Okay, okay.
our family went on a family bike ride, and this is a notorious story where I, as the younger sister, as which we established in the last episode, uh, I felt very competitive, and my brother was teasing me, and he was like, "I bet you can't beat me," kind of a thing. And he was like,
Yeah.
let's race. So I raced him, and I was too young to have done that and ran into a brick wall with my face.
Were you
Yes,
okay?
I was. Our neighbor was witness to me losing a tooth, literally like gushing blood on my face and losing a tooth. But my face is okay. So, like,
Yeah,
I did all right.
I mean, I didn't know that this story happened, so clearly there's no physical evidence.
But you were talking about running into a brick
The
wall. Yes.
point being, in any other circumstance in life, when you're running into a brick wall, that's usually like a sign that,
Mm,
okay, this isn't for you, right? Like
yes.
there's something here that's not working. But with infertility, it's like it feels like running into a brick wall, but it's not necessarily because you shouldn't keep trying. It feels
Right.
that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird because you do keep just like putting yourself through it and through it until finally you make your way through, or there's a breakthrough or something changes. But in any
Hmm.
other circumstance, it would be like,
I
what are you
know.
doing? Like, you're
You're
hurting
so
yourself.
right. Like, if you kept going back to the same bad friend or awful job
Hmm.
or terrible whatever it is,
Hmm.
terrible restaurant, I'd be like, you're crazy. Stop. You're hurting
Hmm.
yourself. Like, you deserve better. Maybe this isn't right for you. Maybe something else is out there for you. Or I would have a lot of conviction that yes, there is something better out there for you. But this reminds me of a lot of the, like, really vile and, like, awful comments that you'll see from time to time. Well, like, maybe this isn't for you. And maybe God
Right.
doesn't want you to have babies, or maybe
Yes.
you're not meant to be a mother. I'm like,
The
go fuck
universe is
yourself.
telling you. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in this regard, I feel like, no, this feels like a life or death situation. And I would imagine maybe it's more akin to, like, illness or injury where, like, no, giving up is not an option here. And how dare you say that? Keep that to yourself, lady. So you're right. Like in other situations, you wouldn't keep putting yourself through that. But I think in this regard, when the conviction is still there, and you have that conviction, and again, I'm not saying you can certainly make a decision that like this is actually not for you, and that's actually also a very powerful decision. For me, the conviction is still very much there, and so the torture continues is kind of, and it's just kind of wild to look at it. And sometimes when I really like take a beat and look at it, I'm like, wow, I am just like we're torturing ourselves through this. And so then my shift in perspective needs to be, how do I make this less torturing? And those are the things I'm thankful for. The
Ooh,
things that make it less torturing is the investment in our
right.
community and our family. As hard as it was to start, actually telling people and being more communicative about what I need, not great at it, but I'm trying. This podcast is something that has made it incredibly, like, so much less torturing and so much more like giving me the strength that I can keep moving through this. And like another thing I'm very thankful for in comparison to like the beginning of this year, and I don't want to put him too much on blast. He's going to feel a little embarrassed, but my relationship around infertility has, with my partner, with Nima, has just really evolved this year too, where I think in the beginning we had talked about early on, like maybe, I don't know if we talked about this, but like Nima would be like, it would be a little hard to even talk about IVF because he just had this like
He had a lot of
beautiful,
optimism and
beautiful optimism that it's just going to work out. Like we're supposed to be parents. We know we want this, right? Like we're supposed to be parents together. And that is such a beautiful thing. And he had such conviction that this is just going to work. Like this is a rough patch and we don't need IVF. It's just going to work. Or IVF is just an insurance policy, but it's still going to work. And then it was surrogacy as an insurance policy, but it's still going to work. And I think for better or worse, that sort of overt optimism or blind optimism has been put in a little bit of a reality check where he is still very optimistic in that, like, we will be parents, but he has softened so much around the how as well as same as I have. And it's made our conversations around this much better in that, like, I don't feel like I have to protect his feelings anymore because in the beginning it was like, I don't know how to talk about surrogacy because I don't want to disappoint him or like, and that was my stuff. It wasn't him doing that. It was my stuff. Like, this is the vision I've always had for parenting or like for building a family. And so, like, if I'm disappointed, he's going to be so disappointed. Like I was putting that out there. But I think we have really, one of the things that's helped this year as just having more and more honest conversations together, and he can hold that with me more than I think in the early years of this journey. And so I wanted to say one cute thing that we've
yeah.
been doing lately is, I don't know why this came up, but he started doing this where every once in a while we'll like start throwing out names. What do you think about this name? What do you think about that name? You'd think that maybe that could be kind of sad, but it's
Mm,
just given me so much hope. And it has been really amazing to have him say it, actually, because it's like,
yeah.
oh, he really believes this is going to work. Like, we're going to figure it out. And we're
Mhm.
holding that together. And he told me last night that he was like doing a meditation thing. And this image of this little girl popped into his meditation. And she was like, get laughing, like little. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it like made me a little sad, but it made me more hopeful than sad, you know? So I don't know. When
Mm,
like looking back at the beginning of this year, we just weren't there. I was like afraid to talk about surrogacy and I was afraid to talk about failure and I was afraid to talk about all of it. And It's how I felt like even a year before that, afraid to talk about IVF, afraid to talk about everything else. So the evolution, I think, continues. And I'm really grateful for you, Katie, for supporting me through all of it and supporting both of us, you and Anthony, and our friends and community and our family. And
Ugh.
is that a good
Uh,
reflection?
it's beautiful. I mean, you have been through so much and grown so much. And I think one thing that you said that really stuck with me, that I think is just a really important and hard lesson when walking this road is that, like, you come to a point where you realize this isn't about me necessarily, like, yes, the big goal is to always find us the solution and how do we reach the end goal of having this like healthy baby earthside. But when you're talking about how the goal now is to figure out what do I need to put in place in my life to be able to make this a little bit more bearable, right? Like
Mm,
going into the new year, understanding that like this might be our year, this might be a hard year. Like it might have ups and downs and all of, I mean, and this applies to anything really, like
yeah.
not just infertility, but treating it that way of like, this could potentially be hard. It probably is going to be hard. I'm probably going to have days where I want to quit. I'm going to have days that feel completely hopeless. I'm not going to give up because I'm going to trust that, like, I will know when it's time to make a decision to maybe do something different. But I'm going to trust that as
Hmm.
long as my inner voice is saying that, like, this is for me and this is what I want, that I am somehow going to have the strength to keep going. And now my job is to just put things in place to help make that a little bit more bearable so that I can manage things day to day, no matter
Yeah.
what happens next, you know?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think you and Nima are such a testament to that, of like from the beginning of this journey to being like, like all of us, of like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, this is awful, all these things, to now having all of this wisdom and experience and it not really getting any easier, but it only getting harder, but figuring out how to have more joy and to continue living your lives and to be giving back through this space and in your work and in other ways, I think is just like really, it's beautiful to witness.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Well, it's a testament to the community you have in place. I really want to encourage people, if you're feeling like you don't have that in place, just like take one step to like bring somebody in. We
Yeah.
cannot go through this alone. Like just the amount of like devastation that can happen and just put you into despair. Like you got to build up the resources and it
Hmm.
won't all happen at once, right? But I just really want to encourage people start reaching out, right? Not everybody will be able to know that you need help, but
Yeah.
just like starting to reach out, I think has been really helpful for us too. It's hard,
Yeah.
man.
Asking for what you need. And that I will be the first to say
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it because I also feel like you should know what I need. Like I need people in my life to see, like,
Oh,
that's been,
totally.
I mean, that has been like the thing for us, especially in postpartum, is like the saying, like, I need you to see me. I need you to see what I need. But it's like,
Mhm.
it's also my
Mhm.
responsibility to ask for what I need and to
Yeah.
verbalize that. Yeah.
Well, I think it goes a little deeper too, is you might just feel like sometimes I just feel totally discombobulated, like
Mhm.
completely like I can't cope. Like I'm not coping well.
Yeah.
And I then don't know what I need. No, you're like, "What do you need?" I'm like, I don't even know what I need." So, in that when I'm in that place, it's a signal like you need to just take a beat, take a big deep breath. And for me, that's like a at least a weekly, if not closer to like a daily thing, to have to reevaluate. Cause yeah, you're right. Nobody can really they can't read your mind. And hell, we talk about that with our husbands all the time. We're like, why don't you just know? They can't
Why
read
don't
our
you
minds,
know?
Katie.
Why
Why
can't you
can't you
just see what
know?
I need? This
Yeah.
does bring up like a good exercise though that has
Mm.
been helpful for me and I think might be helpful for listeners, especially going into the new year. And if you're currently on pause from any IVF or fertility treatments, because I feel like a lot of us right now are
Mhm.
processing and kind of like
It's a
prepping for like
forced
what's
pause.
it's a forced pause. Yeah.
Yeah,
But one thing
often.
that was really helpful for me was creating like a checklist of things that these are the things that help me when like and sending that to Anthony, right? Of like, hey, if you notice I'm not doing well or it seems like I'm off, here are things that are helpful for me. Like, at small things like it's helpful if you bring me an iced coffee while I'm working if I look like I'm feeling overwhelmed. Two, if I seem like I'm not myself or it seems like I'm in like a darker, scary place, like here's a list of the people that you can reach out to who could then like reach out, like my sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like maybe just like creating some sort of checklist that you can share with somebody that feels safe or a friend or your partner. And so that all you have to do when it is really hard is just say, like, it's really hard right now. And they'll know to kind of refer
Yeah.
back to that list of like, oh, this is what she needs to feel seen when it's really hard.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that, Katie. It makes me feel really emotional because how many times in your life are you the friend on the other side who just like doesn't know what to do for
Yeah.
someone?
Y-
So, you know, it's like putting those things in place because I think we just have to be frank with each other and ourselves. Like, this is just really hard. I don't know another way to put it. Like, this is not a cakewalk. And no matter how resilient you are, I would argue, even if you have a ton of resources and money, this is still freaking hard. It's particularly hard if you have other challenging things going on or anything else in your life, basically. So
Yeah.
how do we get ahead of it and then reevaluate it? And yeah. So I love that. That's a really good tool. I'm gonna do that. I don't know what I would
Yeah.
put on it. Iced coffee is a great one.
Iced coffee is always a great one. I feel like it
Literally?
can lift your mood regardless of.
Yeah. But I love, like, the one where here's some people to call.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
I
sometimes
had
you
that
just need a friend
specifically.
call. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if I was gonna have really bad postpartum or not. And so
Mm.
there are a couple of people in my life that had very severe cases of postpartum depression, that I had conversations with in advance to kind of know, like, here are some of the signs, here are some of the things that I wish I would have known or had, to help me through that season. And so I gave that to Anthony before birth of like, hey, this is like a very real possibility for me with my mental health history. If for some reason I'm not seeming like myself or like you don't know what to do, like here are some of the people that you can reach out to that are like aware of how, all of them being women that had that specific experience. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so thoughtful. Sometimes we don't have the wherewithal, but I love that as a
Yeah.
pro tip.
Yeah.
One other thing that you said that I just wanna touch on, and then I wanna get to you, is I've heard you say this a couple times, and I wanted to flag it. This, because it resonates or, like, it makes me feel a certain way. When you talk about these babies' earth side, I
Uh,
love that
Yeah.
term.
Isn't
I
it
don't know
so?
what it is. It's so sweet. It feels very like an acknowledgement that everything else behind it is very mystical and a little
Mm.
magical and like in the universe or in the stars.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it sounds like to me. And it makes me feel a little bit more hopeful that like miracles happen, you know? I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
Yeah.
wanted to
That's
say that.
that's beautiful. Yeah. I can't claim it. It's like people say it a lot on Reddit. I don't know who came up with it. And I think it's talked about a lot in the recurrent loss community.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
but But yeah, I mean, I think it's at least, I don't know, I feel like it's a really helpful way to think about loss in terms of miscarriage or even just like embryos that don't make it. Or, I mean, we say that a lot with Louie now. Like the one loss we did have, like that led us to you. And like that, the failed cycles we had, like that led us to you and brought you earthside. And so, like any other losses would have been just like little, I don't know, like fairy dust to get to her.
Yeah.
So,
Little
yeah.
angels guiding the way.
Yeah.
That's hard to think
Yeah.
about, but also
Or we
beautiful.
have, this brings me back to what you shared about Nima, which I think is so beautiful. And I think a lot of us probably have similar experiences. And I just want to say like how special and sacred those are. And they're not, I don't know. I think sometimes I felt it was like silly to be like envisioning this future child or like manifesting or having dreams about this baby. I have a lot of like journal entries of like this daughter that was just like always this idea, right? But I cling to those now, and like those were really, they helped keep me afloat on the hard days. And I think a lot of people have those, and I think they're just like, they're so special and they're so sacred. Anthony and I, we always thought that we were going to have a son. Like that was just kind of our, like we just felt like boy parents. Like we felt like we're going to have a little boy. We have a boy name picked out. And even when we transferred our embryo, we thought it was a boy based on the grade of the embryo, just like had like a feeling. It was
Oh,
funny
because you didn't
because
know. You
we
didn't
didn't
know that.
know. We knew we had one male and one female embryo because of the story where I
Yeah.
accidentally asked my nurse coordinator, "Are they the same gender at least?" And she was like, "They're different."
She's
And I'm
like,
like, "Oh shoot, we only have two, so now I know." Um, but and
Mm.
so we were convinced that the embryo that was transferred was a boy. And even though, and I think I'm not sure if I've shared this with you, but I had a feeling on 5 days post transfer when I wasn't sure if it had stuck or not. I tested throughout my whole transfer because I had the trigger shot. So I wanted to see like what was happening with the line. So there was
right,
never
right.
like a moment where it was like, it was always the line looks like it's getting darker. So I think it worked until
What
we
a
had beta.
weird trip.
It was weird. The reason I did that was I did not want to test and get a positive and it potentially still be the trigger and get
Yeah.
excited. Like I needed to like
Yeah.
see it disappear and then come back. But so 5 days post transfer, we like the line was like barely there. And so I'm like not sure one way or the other, but I'm feeling like maybe it worked. Like I'm having this like optimism, right?
Hmm.
And we went to a Hans Zimmer concert, which was like
Yeah.
so special because it was this bucket list item that I had told Anthony about, like maybe when we were dating. And then
Cute.
I completely forgot that I had told him about this. And then he
That's
surprised me with tickets
adorable.
for my birthday. And the concert happened to fall on the Friday after our transfer, which we would have never known that because we didn't even have our transfer scheduled at that time. But at the concert, they were doing the soundtrack for Dune. And you know the
Favorite.
song where it's like the woman wailing for like a lot of the song. I'm not going to try to sing it, but
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yes.
It's all women singing, and it starts with this woman like doing this like big wail
Did they
singing
sing it
type
live?
thing. They sang it live, and
Wow.
I, in that moment, had this like, oh my gosh, it's a girl. Like, just this like feminine energy came over me of like, I think
Whoa.
it worked and I think I'm having a girl. And even though like I still said, I think it's a boy up until we found out the gender, I was
Oh
like,
my God.
I think it might actually be a girl. So, like,
Oh, that's
it was
so cool.
it was a very special moment. But I say all of that because we have a boy named picked out and um have always thought our first child was going to be, or the child that we have, because who knows how many, if we'll be able to have more than one, would be a boy.
Hmm.
And now we often say that, because who knows like what's going to happen when we transfer this other embryo someday. Um, there's
Hmm.
the chances are higher that it's not going to stick than it will stick. And I've had to kind of start playing with that in my mind of like, what is that going to be like to lose our only remaining embryo, that embryo being a male, us like have always like
Yeah.
envisioned having a son. And the way that we talk about it now is if it was just that like this like quote unquote son that we had, his name was just to like get us to Lumi. Like maybe he didn't actually exist. Like maybe it was just this like idea or this imaginary child or imaginary son that like kept us going and kept us like fighting and then brought us to her, which we didn't even know we needed her. And then she's here, and it's like, I can't imagine literally anything else. Um, so, yeah, all that to say, I think this whole idea of mysticism and these moments where we like talk about like the names or have these like images, or I think they're so sacred and so special, and like something that I just like hold really tightly during this experience. And I think others would probably feel the same way and have had similar experiences because
Hmm.
it's kind of all we have until we have that baby in our arms.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so beautiful. I feel like it could feel scary to do that because then you're making
Yeah.
it real,
Yeah.
which I think maybe stopped us from having that open conversation for a while. Like I had been doing it for a while. I got a list of baby names in my phone that goes back
I like can't wait to
pre
hear your baby names
it goes
someday.
back pre my first pregnancy. Like it goes back to when we like
Yeah.
before we even got married. It's like I've been manifesting this for a while. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
didn't feel like I felt like it would just make things sadder to say it out loud, but actually I've found it has brought us much closer together. And having Nima share that with me has made me feel like I have more of a true partner in this, and it's bonded us, I think, closer. We can like literally name. We have words to talk about the longing that we're feeling, you know? It's also just given us a tool to show each other that we are still in it together. It's like we're both manifesting and then we get to manifest together, and that just feels really supportive. So, that's been a newer thing and I feel really grateful for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think for anyone who feels resistant to that, I think it's totally this journey has to be unique to like you have to
Mhm.
do what you have to do to get through it.
Absolutely.
And if that feels like so just like no, not for me, I think that's totally fine too. I think
Mhm.
but like you're saying also, I don't know if you're fearful of taking that like step of like envisioning or manifesting or even just like whispering like the potential name. I don't know if it necessarily makes it any easier. Like I think we trick ourselves into thinking like it's going to hurt less.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and I think that
If I
about this
don't if
embryo
yes.
that we still have of like I have a name picked out because we've just always had a name picked out for a boy, and this embryo happens to be a boy. And my mom asked me, are you going to be okay if it doesn't work? Because it's like, are you more attached to this embryo because you've like had this name? And I think the loss would feel like a loss regardless. Like I don't know if it would soften the blow just because I distanced myself. Like I think I would be tricking myself into thinking like I wasn't
Mhm.
attached when you just are. Like it's kind of
You
part
just
of the
are.
package deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels like this is just such a part of your life too that if we never touch it, it feels like you're just
Mm,
sort of hiding it away and hoping that
yeah.
it just goes away. And I think the
Hmm.
more years I have now, or like the more experiences I have with it now, is I'm really trying to be like, I'm really trying to shelve that idea because this is my one life and my life is complicated. The journey to parenthood has been really complicated. I have other things that are also really complicated, and I just feel like the more I try to shove those things away, the more I'm just, like, missing my life. So I don't want that. I want the fullness of the whole thing, and if part of my journey is this, then I wanna feel it all. That's kind of something I've been ruminating on too,
Well,
you
it's
know?
kind of like the idea of like your joy is only at this. I'm going to butcher this. I don't know if there's like a quote, but like the joy you feel is only as great as like the sorrow you allow yourself to feel. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
limiting one side, you're also limiting the other. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like you kind of just like shrink everything then, and your life
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
feels really small because you're scared to feel the big
Yeah.
sadness that comes with
Yeah.
infertility.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's you said it, you put it in words. Well, you have also had a major year, complete 180 of a life, or I don't know
Yes.
how you would put it, but what
No,
about
it
you?
definitely feels that way. I think to be fully transparent, what I'm processing at the end of this year is how much I still need to process. Uh,
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling. I am feeling very much like on the other side of an experience that I still don't know how to wrap my head around. I think from the moment we found out our transfer was successful, I I was so I wouldn't say good, but I was so comfortable with handling my feelings around infertility and IVF while going through infertility and IVF. It was so familiar to me. I
Hmm.
knew myself, I recognized myself in the mirror, like it just everything felt like it made sense even though I didn't like it. It was like, yep, this is my life. I understand how I'm feeling. I know how to process these feelings. I can do this in therapy. Like I know
Mm.
how to talk about what I'm going through. I know how to write about what I'm going through. And then as soon as we got pregnant, it was like, I don't know how to process any of this. I don't know how to feel about being pregnant. I don't know what to do with these emotions of like,
Mm.
I'm scared of pregnancy. I'm excited about pregnancy. I'm, hesitant. I'm I still don't even really know how to talk about it. And then, you're physically going through a change. And so that kind of takes up
Yeah.
all the space. There's no, there's nothing left to do except to just care for your body. And so you kind of
Mhm.
push it all to the side. And I mean, I did do some therapy while pregnant, but I felt very much like I don't know, like I just felt so removed from it all. And then you're just like prepping for this new person, this new life. And so then it just becomes about to-do lists, right? And so it's so easy to check out and just be like, we moved to a new house. I mean, that in and of itself, it's like every
Yeah.
weekend, every spare moment is filled with to-do lists, things to go buy, things to sell, things to decorate, boxes to
Mhm.
unpack. And then you have birth, and then you have recovery, and then you are sleep deprived, and then you're
Mm.
at the end of the year and feels like a fever dream.
Mm.
And then pair that with the feeling of one, I do need to process this all. Like it's very important that I process it all. Two, I feel like I'm not allowed to say this out loud because I'm in a position that so many other people would love to be in. So
Sure.
like I should just be grateful and over the moon, and which I am. I'm all of those things, but I'm also like, how do I like my
Yeah.
brain, it just feels like short circuiting most of the time. And so, and then you have a life too, right? Like you have work, work and
Yeah.
relationships and
Mhm. Yeah.
simple things like grocery shopping. So, to say that I am feeling exhausted and like what the hell just happened, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
I have experienced more highs and lows this year than I ever have in my entire life. Like just extreme ecstasy. Like I am terrified of how incredible and amazing and good it feels to have this baby here, to also just paralyzing fear of like, when is the other shoe gonna drop?
Mm.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so it's been a lot. If anyone knows how to find an extra day of the week that I can just like tack on to be able to like manage, it's been a whirlwind.
As your friend, having watched your journey
Hmm.
from, I guess, a front row seat and from afar, I can only imagine that it feels just very messy in there, like trying to tease out everything, and it's all just in one big jumbled mess. Or rather, you know those rubber band balls that people make and just keep
Yes.
adding a rubber band to
Yep.
it. So simultaneously, it's like gotten so big that if you put another rubber band, that rubber band might snap. And also, it will take you a very long time to undo that rubber
Undo.
band ball. So it's like on both sides, watching you go through all of this, like I have so much empathy for new moms who, how do you do this? How do you survive and take care of yourself while taking care of literally a human? And then also have like all the life stuff that I already struggle with on the day to day.
Yeah.
And so, like, I feel like the band snapping is right there. But then I also know everything that you have been through. And it feels like once you get like the positive, it's just like a hurricane moving forward. You can't, it's just got such force winds. You can't pause and do anything, maybe for fear that, like, if you did, that would be a bad thing. If you don't completely, I wonder if that resonates at all. Like, if you don't
Hmm.
completely give yourself over to the positive part of the narrative, which it is, it's like an overwhelming joy. If you don't completely give yourself over to that, then like maybe that, what does that say about you? Is like the fear, maybe? I don't know. But I guess
Hmm.
just seeing, just knowing what has gone into this and then feeling, hearing what you're saying of like not being able to really even process that, describe that, name that, but you know
Yeah.
it's there. It's just very complicated.
When you are going through infertility and IVF, especially when you go through it for multiple years, you
Mm.
become so comfortable and familiar with that experience, even if you hate it and you are
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be doing this. I can't do this anymore. But then all of a sudden, one day, you just have a transfer and you get a positive, and it's like, boom, it's over. Like now you are on the other side of things, and you're just
Yeah.
supposed to be excited about that. And like, it is
Yeah.
such a strange feeling. And then the same thing happens as soon as you have the baby, where it's just like you have been terrified for this entire pregnancy. You know,
Mhm.
my pregnancy was considered high risk, so it's like appointment, appointment, appointment. The third trimester, I was at the doctor's office 3 times a week getting monitored. And then you go in to have this baby, and then all of a sudden, it's like everything you just went through for the last 9 to 10 months is now behind you and doesn't matter anymore. You're no longer like a high risk pregnant person. You're now just like a woman again
Yep.
with a baby
Yep.
and a lot of
A mom.
bleeding. And yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
Well,
just,
even your labor, right, is like this terrifying point in time, and for yours, which we still have to get to, incredibly scary. And then you get through that and now, okay, that's just behind you. You're just
it literally,
now you need to be a mom now.
the best way that I can describe it is like the best visual that I can give you is, so the hospital is set up with a labor and delivery ward, and then you have the postpartum ward, and they're right
Mhm.
next, like it's like 2 parallel hallways
Mhm.
linked by another hallway. You're on the labor and delivery ward and you're having this experience. I go through this traumatic birth, end up having an emergency surgery, get taken to the recovery center. my nurse is catering to me
Mm-hmm.
and is asking me about pain medication and says like, we're going to get you some morphine so that you can sleep tonight. Then I'm handed my baby, wheeled over to the postpartum ward, and it's just like all of a sudden, no one knows anything that I just went through. And the nurse is like, why do you need morphine? We don't do that over here. And I'm like, well, I just got out of surgery and my nurse over there said that they would give me some pain medication because I literally just tore my cervix and have like stitches inside of me. So they said they were going to give me morphine so I could sleep tonight. And she like shakes her head and is like, well, I'll have to check, but we don't usually administer drugs over here or like administer like that kind of pain medication over here. And so within minutes, you're
Oh my
in
God.
surgery and then you're over here and someone's bringing you a Chipotle burrito and is just like,
Of
what do you
course,
want to
that was
watch
your
on
first
TV?
meal.
Right. Of course. Of course.
Like so many people, they're like, no, I'm getting sushi. You got
Yeah,
Chipotle. Of course you did.
I did. I get Chipotle. Yeah.
But
So
yes, that is such a visual. Oh my gosh.
it just feels like I haven't had a minute to sit down and really process everything. And maybe like, I think the other thing I'm reflecting on as we end this year is that I don't know if that's going to happen. Like,
Okay.
I think
I'm glad
maybe
you
this is
said it.
just, I think
I'm
this
glad
is
you
maybe
said it.
just life now.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things that I've learned this year is that you have to take the pauses as they come
Mm,
and
yeah.
do the most with that because I'm so used to being, before Lumi, it was like I would just like go book a weekend in Big Bear to be by myself and be like, I need to go write. Like I need to go and just like be in the mountains and get some headspace. And I don't get to do that anymore. Like there is I no
Mm-mm.
longer can I just go somewhere and process my feelings and write about my feelings and then come back. And so it's kind of just like, this is your life. Like you got to
Mm-hmm.
just keep moving. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do with that, but if anyone has advice.
I'm really glad that you said that out loud because I was about to throw that
Yeah,
grenade in here and be like, well, I think it's going to be harder to
I
do
think,
that now. Basically,
yeah,
every mother I see everywhere is just,
yeah,
I think that's a hard thing, a really hard thing for moms because the mothering becomes this invisible thing that is just
mm,
always there, ever present. And then, or maybe the mothering, actually, maybe it's that the mothering becomes the thing in the forefront and then you become the invisible thing. And
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
and that's the challenge, right? Over and over again is to not lose yourself and keep
mm,
finding ways to come back to yourself. And for you, I was thinking exactly what you said about like you used to be able to just process this because you would just like you just go into a corner and or into the mountains and write it all out. And now it's like, okay, how do you respect that part of you still needs to process
yeah,
and explore this in this new phase. And oh, I just feel like that's a lifetime challenge for women, especially probably for anybody, but particularly for
yeah.
women.
Well, and yes, because I do think it's probably even bigger than what you're saying, right? Of like, it's not even just mothers. Like,
Hmm.
I think it is such a privilege to be able to go through something hard and then to have the resources and the space to be
Hmm.
able to like fully process and grieve. Like I'm thinking about
And
like
is
when you
that
lose,
ever really done?
no, and that's the
I
other thing,
don't
right?
think it
It's
is.
never, right. Okay. So yes, you're hitting on
Okay.
two things here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like when you lose a loved one, right? Like
Hmm.
bereavement, like life does, and that's the thing that people always say is the world keeps turning. It doesn't stop. Like sure, there might be like a short period where it feels like you have a little bit of space to mourn and grieve, but like for the most part it's like you still have
Yeah.
to go pick up the kids from school or you still have
Hmm.
to, you know, have that I don't, you still have life. Like life is still
Hmm.
happening. So yes, so I
That's
think
true.
like that is one thing that I am starting to understand is that I went through this experience with infertility and now I have a baby, and there is no intermission to swallow all of that and be
Yeah.
like, okay, so what does this mean? Like it just keeps going. And then, like you were saying, is I'm also realizing there is no end point. And I think
Mm,
that's been like a
mm-hmm.
maybe a big realization for both of us this year. But for me, as I can speak
Yeah.
to it, especially like that it's felt very central to my own processing, is
Mm,
that infertility is not something that I just went through. Like it's going to be
mm,
there. I mean, even after I'm done, even if after I can no longer have children or whatever, like it's still always a part of my life. And
mm-hmm.
it's not this like one event that happened. It's this
Mm-hmm.
ongoing,
Yeah.
continuous experience that's going to show up
Yeah.
in different ways. Yeah.
But what's, I think, particularly challenging about that is that the rest of the world wants to treat it as like a one and like that just that happened to you. We can move on now. And I think it's
Yes.
very back to your point earlier about when you lose a loved one, grieving feels very like there is a time for it. Okay, now life should just move on. You're supposed to go back to work. You're supposed to like start your life again. You're supposed to do normal things. And I think for us who go through that, like you find a way to integrate and I don't even know when I did it or when it happened. I don't think it is like a point in time that it happened. I think it gets a little softer and you find ways to carry it a little bit easier through the day and then every day is a little different and until eventually it's a little bit more like consistent and a little less heavy. And that for me is my grieving experience. And I wonder if it's a similar thing where like the world keeps spinning, like you said, life keeps going on. Everyone else will just treat that as a moment in time for you. You will have in your heart like this is never really gone. It will affect you forever and in like how you make decisions going forward, even if you're out of the baby making phase of your life, it'll still like resonate and have ripple effects in
Hmm.
other parts of your life. And that little bit of I think that tension is there. And I guess I just hope eventually it becomes a little softer and a little bit more integrated, over time. I don't know. That's my goal, I hope. I mean, I'm so far away from it though. But I feel what you're saying because
Yeah.
even with like close loved ones and friends, like it is a peace moment in time conversation, right? Then we move on. And like I don't want to wallow on the thing and spend the whole time talking about it, but it is just like an example of like, okay, we touched that piece. Okay, moving on. What else? I'm like, well, little do y'all know is it like literally is the undercurrent to the air that I
Yeah.
breathe,
Yeah.
to like my ability to get out of bed and the way I fall asleep. Like does it show that it infiltrates into my entire being, how I move through the world, the anxiety I have, the conversations I'm having, the things I worry about, the things I'm planning for, like thinking 6 months out from now, like it infiltrates everything.
Everything.
And I don't want to have to say that, or I also don't want to wallow in that, but it is the truth for me. And so I think also our environment and like the people who love us and not like the strangers that you meet in life and,
Hmm.
different parts of your journey in life, they won't get it, just like they won't get somebody else's, pain. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to deal with it, but I think it's just maybe the
Well,
reality.
yeah.
We need a
Um,
therapist to come on. That's what we need.
we have a therapist coming on. We are
I
interviewing
know.
a
That was
mental. Yes, that was a little tease. We'll
a
have
little
some
teaser.
therapy for you in January. Well,
Yeah, I can't
maybe
wait
we
for
can
that.
wrap with this because I have one more thought that is going to just throw a grenade in everything that I just said. I
Ooh,
think there
yes.
is also a part of me, and I think I'm just starting to get to this point, and maybe I can offer this for someone else who might be feeling this way and on the cusp of it. I want to be able to process everything that I went through. I also think that I'm coming to terms with like, it's okay to let go. Like, it's okay to move forward. And I feel
Yes.
maybe that's something that I've been like hanging on to of like closed fists of like, this is my story. This has been my identity for so long. I don't know who I am without this version of
Mm-hmm.
myself because my entire 30s up until this point has been fertility treatments and advocating for this community. What does it actually look like to let go and to say, this
Yeah.
is no longer a part of my life in this way? And that's okay. Like, it's okay for me to say, I'm happy and I'm moving forward into like this
Yeah.
next phase and season, whatever that looks like. I think I have a tendency to want to over process things, is
Mm.
one thing that I am starting
Classic
to
writer.
recognize. Right. Yes. Like I want everything to have like the violins, like
And the
everything needs to
meaning.
be,
Yes.
and the meaning. And yes, because,
Everything is
and
a
that
2000s rom-com. Everything has the big
everything.
arc.
And
Everything
my
has
therapist
a as
would,
an ending.
everything has, yes, everything has a, Damien Rice like
Yes,
song
oh my
playing in the
god, that's what I was thinking
background.
of. That's exactly what I
Yes,
was thinking of. Or a
100%.
Bon Iver
Um,
song, just,
oh,
oh,
yes.
yes. I mean,
Yeah.
soundtrack to my youth, my
I
angsty
mean, Amy
college
knows
years.
from our videos that we've posted on TikTok. They always the sad songs. Um,
They're so good.
but yeah, I think there is a part of me too that is like, does this need to be looked at with
Ooh,
like, do I need to really turn this over as many times as I think I need to? And my therapist would, when I was seeing a therapist at the beginning of the pregnancy, this was something that would often come up is like, why are you so scared to let this go? And a lot of it was
ooh.
because of that identity thing of like, this feels
Mm,
so central to a portion of my life and what I've gone through, but also like, if I like, am I going to forget? Like, am I doing a disservice to all of the hard things that I went through or that version of myself by leaving her in the past? You know what I mean? Of just how can you leave that portion of you in the past and move forward and not kind of feel this sense of sadness of like, you
yeah.
were bringing her along for so long and now I'm saying goodbye to you and walking into this new season.
Mm,
And so,
yeah.
yeah.
How can you change the narrative a little bit to instead of you're leaving her behind,
Mm,
she just like the visual of the little boy maybe
mm,
is the version of you that needed to get you here. And
yeah.
how can you just be, she'd actually be proud of you. I think about that like a little bit with parents. It's
Mm,
like when you got to fly, what is it? Fly the coop or fly the nest?
yeah. Right.
Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I do that.
So
But
funny.
just like your parents would be so proud of you for being happy. And so little Katie, who had to hunker down and go through all of that, is really just happy for you. So
Yeah.
maybe there's something there. She's not gone.
I
That girl
know.
is so resilient. That girl is in there.
Yeah.
She is
I
coming
know.
out in different ways now, right? She's coming out in how you support me and other friends and the community at large. And she comes out in how you somehow handle sleepless nights and working a full-time job while also supporting the podcast and keeping your baby alive. Like, she's not gone. She's there. She's just she's evolved,
She's
you know?
evolved.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I
It's
am.
been it's been a really yeah, it's been a big year.
Yeah. I love seeing you as a mom. I
Thanks.
love it. It is so
Love
sweet. And I
love being a
love
mom.
hearing Anthony's little voice in the videos every once in a while. Hearing, seeing him as a dad. And
Yeah.
it just fills me with so much
Yeah.
gratitude to see you guys and see her little happy face. And she just looks so much like you. I know you think she looks like Anthony, but I see it.
I'm seeing
She
it
looks more like
more.
you. Yeah. You
Yeah.
couldn't see it in the beginning. I don't know what it was,
She's
but
I know.
I could
I'm
see it. I
curious if
mean,
anyone
you,
else.
as the mother, couldn't see it. And I was like, no, it's right there.
Amy knows that I have this anxiety of like, I need to test, like, have genetic testing done to ensure my embryos didn't get swapped. But
Um,
now I'm,
she is a
but
cutting,
now
like,
it's like starting to be obvious. Yes, I know.
yeah, she's perfect. She's perfect.
Yes,
And
she's,
it is an incredible joy to see you like fill into that role and how like the ease. I know it doesn't feel easy. That's not what I'm saying, but the ease of how you just are, you're being together.
yeah.
I noticed it especially when you came over for breakfast and just like it just felt so, it's not that it's calm. She's a baby, but it felt right,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Well,
it. I love you. I'm so proud of
I
you.
love you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us.
I'm so proud of us. Guys.
Episode 43, I think this is. I think this is
Wait,
episode
let
43.
me tell you because I was just listening to our actual episode 42. So, yes. Okay. Well, I do have a way
All
that we
right.
should end this. Do you have a
Okay.
way we should end this?
No.
Okay. The ending is going to be this. All right. This is going to make me laugh.
Is this rehearsal or is this actually ending it?
We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. On the 12th day of Christmas, infertility gave to me 12 tiny triumphs, 11 hours on Reddit, 10 days of stims, 9 pounds of bloating, 8 days of estrogen, 7 sob-filled showers, 6 sluggish swimmers, 5 puzzled doctors, 4 lagging follicles, 300 supplements, 2 tired ovaries, and a uterus as cranky as can be.
Woo! Merry Christmas. Amy, that was wonderful. Thank you for gracing us with that. And
I
yeah,
didn't warm up. I needed me, 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 me,
no,
me.
it was wonderful.
Well, I
I
love you
love
so
you.
much.
Love to our listeners,
Love
and
to
we
our
will see
listeners.
you in 2026.
See you in the new year. You're doing great. And we're
You're
wishing
doing
you a
great.
great holiday. Don't
Yes.
forget it.
Take care of
All
yourself.
right.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We love you. Woohoo.